Hey guys, Station X here, and today we're going to be looking at my top 10 personal favorite Xbox 360 games. And unlike with the last one I did, this one means a lot to me because the Xbox 360 was my childhood system. Like, it's the one I use the most, and it's the one that holds the nearest and dearest to my heart, other than, I guess, the Wii and stuff like that. But without further ado, I just want to jump right into it and get down to the games. Now, these are not like the best games of all time. That my opinion's not fact, okay? So if you don't agree with my list, that's perfectly fine. If you feel like there was a game that was better than what I put out, that's perfectly fine. But this is just what I grew up with in my childhood, and this is the games I played the most on there. Some of them were probably not appropriate for my age, but I mean, hey, you know, those games meant a lot to me, and some of them are in my top 10 favorites of all time, period. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So up first we have WWE 13, not 2K. This is right before they did 2K. Now, I'm a big wrestling guy, and so I didn't want to really put sports games on this list because I know, you know, they're kind of the same all the time, but this one in particular, WWE 13, was my favorite. I remember playing the online for this every day, just all day, every day. The story mode on it, they were going through the Attitude Era, which was super awesome. You had the old classics like Stone Cold Rock, Shawn Michaels, basically like DX, and Mankind, which is another one. But some of my favorites are in here, and I had a lot of good times with it, like making my own character, doing his entrance. You were able to do this thing, which I wish they still did, but you could be able to go through your music playlist and actually use custom music for the game itself. So you didn't have to be restricted to just what they had. You could use whatever music you wanted, which was another thing that was really cool. You're able to create your own music video as well, like the Titantron video that plays in the background when the wrestler does his entrance. But this just holds a special place in my heart, and it'll always be in my favorites 360 games. Moving on to number 9, we have The Walking Dead, specifically the first season. Now, this thing, I mean, I don't know if I could say anything that most people haven't already said about this game, but when I first played it back in the day, it was amazing. You know, seeing Clementine, seeing Lee, seeing Kenny, Duck, all them, just like the story was just perfect. And I think after that, like season 2, 3 onward, just none of them could really capture the magic that this first one did. Just how it started with episode 1, seeing how the group survived through episodes 2 and 3. 3 was specifically kind of heartbreaking there, and then seeing how the story ended with 4 and 5, just like, and like again, like the characters that you meet along the way, like Kenny, super memorable, Duck, very annoying, Katja, you know, she just dies, you know. So I mean, I guess spoiler there. And then like the other ones you meet, like Ben, you meet Omi and Krista. You know, there's a little references from the show, like you have Herschel and Glenn that make a kind of a cameo appearance, although they're not like the actual Herschel and Glenn that you see from the show. But like, this was awesome, and I had like, this was my first experience from The Walking Dead. None of the like shows, movies, any of the comic books, nothing, nada, zero. This was my first experience with The Walking Dead, and I remember like when it first came out, it was episodic, right? So you had to buy the episode, which was digital only at the time. They didn't do like physical releases, and I bought the first episode, and every time a new one came out, I immediately bought it. It was either that or get a Minecraft skin pack. That was kind of like my deal going on. So. But like, this was awesome. I remember running to my dad and be like, oh, I gotta get the new episode, please. And it was awesome. I remember this game fondly, and it's such a great story, and the end just is so heartbreaking. But 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Here we also have Portal 2, another really cool game, and one of the first games I've ever played was Portal 2. And unlike the other stuff that will pop up on the list, with the exception, I guess, 2, this is one of those like pretty kiddie games, I guess you could say, in a sense that it's not gory. There's no extreme cursing or violence and things like that. It is legit like an everyone game, and basically you're just running around thinking with portals. Of course, the story mode, play as Chell again, defeating GLaDOS as usual, but you know, halfway through it, little spoiler, Wheatley Wheatley was such a memorable character too. I remember like first getting surprised by that betrayal. Was like, oh my god, That is insane. But also the co-op campaign too was just a nice little fun thing to do with friends. And I remember trying to complete the achievements list 100%. I was always missing that one achievement, Still Alive, which was like you had to complete course 4 in the co-op training mode without like dying once. So you can't die and your partner can't die. So it's like, it's what made it so hard, is because not only is it a hard course, but it's a hard, like, just you can't, not only you can't die, but like your partner as well. So your partner could be like brain dead and would die constantly. That's typically what would happen. But like, it's just an awesome game. Of course, like the characters are very funny, the story is very memorable, and just Valve knows how to make the games. And it's not gonna be the last time they show up on this list. The next one at number 7 is the Orange Box. Now I know I'm cheating a bit because this has literally 5 games in it, but I had to include it because this was one of those games I played relentlessly, day after day after day. If you want to be specific, Team Fortress 2 is the specific one I would play all the time. But of course, this is where I play Portal 1. The like Half-Life series, for the most part, is on here, with the exception of 1. But still, it's like, this is how I got introduced to Half-Life and how I got introduced to Team Fortress 2. And while the console version is lacking so many things that the PC version has, without this version, I would never have known about Team Fortress 2. So like, this right here is just gold, okay? And it was also really cool just to have all these different games in one setting. And it also teased another Valve game that will also make its way on this list as well. But I was really into Valve at this time. Like Half-Life 2 Episode 2 specifically was my favorite out of the Half-Life games. Portal was obviously very cool. Not as good as the second one, of course. The second one really did an amazing job there, but also Team Fortress 2 was just so much fun. So much fun. And they also had included cheat codes for the single player titles here. So if you wanted to mess around and do stuff, then you could. And you could still get achievements, I believe, with that as well, which I never bothered 100%ing on this one because it was just such a headache to do. Moving on to the next game on our list, we have Minecraft, the Xbox 360 edition specifically. Of course, I think this is like one of the first, if not the first, like console port of the game. And I played it when it first came out, and I had my world at like the one I stick with consistently from title update 2, I want to say, all the way up to today, which is the course they let you move the Minecraft worlds over from 360 to 1, then 1 to just kind of Bedrock edition, I guess now that they call it. But this will always be like one of the games that's just like, again, played every single day. Like a lot of these games have in common is that I've played them every single day at some point where it was just like an obsession. But grinding on that world, getting the diamonds, doing all the stuff, defeating the Ender Dragon, with each and every title update, I was just so like, man, like I remember when creative mode came out for the first time, like that was such a like surprise. One of the title updates came out on my birthday, which was super fun. And I remember missing school because of that sometimes. Like I would come home like and just be like, oh, I'm gonna pretend to be sick just because the title update's coming out tomorrow and I really want to play it. And I remember whenever you saw like the update boom pop up, you would like disconnect from Xbox Live and then it would update. Oh, this game needs an update. That was like the happiest thing to see when you opened the game up, because it's like, oh my god, what new stuff's gonna be on there. The jungle update was awesome. And I don't remember if the jungle update was title update 12, but I remember title update 12 specifically was one of those ones I was just really hyped for. And I don't know why. Like I remember like when Book and Quills were added, I was like super excited about that. I was excited about like really small stuff, but it was such a fun time, and I got to play with amazing friends on this game and enjoyed it. And while I don't play it as much anymore, it's definitely one of those games that will forever kind of be a part of my little heart. On to something that's completely the opposite. We have GTA 5 for the Xbox 360. Now, of course, I'm talking about the original version, not the million other re-releases that they've done, like the original Xbox 360 / PS3 version. But of course, like this is where I made my character for the first time, and I don't remember what level I am, but it's something super low compared to everybody else. Although I am triple digits on it. But GTA 5, like, what an amazing campaign. I really liked the campaign, and the fact that you could switch between 3 different characters was just super awesome. And of course, GTA Online, how can we forget about GTA Online and all those different updates that they had, like the Beach Bum update, the hipster one, the St. Valentine's Day one. Like, that one was awesome. I remember same deal with Minecraft and the Walking Dead, seeing those updates come in. They would come in as DLCs back then, so it's like nowadays they just happen. So back then when the games updated, it was like an event. Now it doesn't matter anymore. But like GTA 5, like for me, for the most part, I really liked messing around in the single player, but the multiplayer, I really liked playing the survival modes, which was like those wave modes, because I just liked doing waved game modes where you like survive each round. So that was pretty neat. And just messing around with friends, having fun time, just is like the biggest key to my enjoyment on this game, because I don't really play it as much anymore. It's one of those games again, like where you did everything. It's kind of boring now, and I would love to see a new GTA at some point, but that's not going to be for a while now. But GTA 5, super cool, super awesome, especially when it first came out. That was like the best time. Next one on this list, we're going to be looking at the Fear series, specifically Fear 3. Now, a lot of people don't remember this game. It was one of those games where I would look up on YouTube a lot, be like Portal 2, Fear 3, another game that'll show up on the list, and it was just like I would watch walkthroughs on it, and I would be like scared out of my mind, because it's like at the time I was like 10, right? So I don't do Fear very well, you know. Hence the title here. But I did get this game a chance. I did really like it, even though I was really like, I had a really hard time getting through it. And I'm the type of person who can't get through Resident Evil, right? So I'm not a big horror guy. I'm not like into scary. Not my thing. But I just had such a fun time with this. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much. And I can't explain why it's super good. I just really like it. I mean, there is a co-op mode, which is super nice, and that's what I used to play this game, because I could not play through it by myself. It was kind of cool, especially it had multiple different endings as well, and it was kind of like a nice little conclusion to the story. It's one of those ones that they didn't continue it on after the end of it. So I would love to see a new Fear at some point, but I mean, hey, it's such a good conclusion to the series. I do like it. But moving on to the next game, we have Left 4 Dead 2. This will finally round up the Valve games, and my god, what can I say about Left 4 Dead 2? It is such a masterpiece that, like, again, a game I would obsess with every day. And even though like the campaigns are short, they're not like super in-depth like some storytelling games, but it was just such dumb fun that I really liked it. Like, the weapons were good, the characters, Ellis, Nick, Coach, Rochelle, like, so good. And like with each update, they kept making it better. Like with Mutations was all like a fantastic addition to the game. And I thought Mutations was just like, it was exciting when it wasn't like selectable, because it was every Tuesday, like the second week Tuesday of a month, where you would just go on the Left 4 Dead 2 and just see what new mutation there was. And I would always get excited with my friends to be like, oh, the M60 mutations on, oh, tank mutations on, versus survival, which is a really fun game mode, because I already really like versus, and versus was so much fun. But again, like, the characters are great. And what was also really good, because I would have put like Left 4 Dead 1 instead of 2, because I just really like their characters a lot more, and they're basically the same game, right? But Left 4 Dead 2, at some point, they updated it to where they had all the Left 4 Dead 1 maps, characters, and even with the PC version, all the Left 4 Dead modes that you could do as well. Like, specifically the PC version just makes it absolutely no reason to play Left 4 Dead 1, but even on Xbox, it's just kind of like, okay. And, like, it was just such a good game. Moving on to the next game, number 2 on the list, if you say, Black Ops 2. Now, I could put any Call of Duty on this list and call it a day, but Black Ops 2 in particular was just one of those games that just hit different for me. And it was the first game I prestiged on. The zombies was something that I always played every single day, even though I think Black Ops 1 had the better zombies in comparison, and Black Ops 3 also had better zombies, especially since Zombies Chronicles happened. But Black Ops 2, like Mob of the Dead and Origins, even though those were like basically the only two good maps, Buried being kind of like a 50-50 for me. The zombies was amazing. Multiplayer, I couldn't get enough of. And it did take me a long time to max prestige in that game, but this is one of the few games I max prestiged in, other than Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 3. I got Diamond Camo on here, which was such a fun thing to discover because it wasn't a camo listed on the thing. When you were doing gun challenges for the camos, you had to, like, you were trying to get gold camo, and once you got gold camo for all the weapons in that weapon category, like submachine guns, for example, you would earn it. And this is the first game where you had a DLC weapon and not like supply drops. You were able to buy a DLC pack, like DLC pack 1, and you got the Peacekeeper along with it, which was so much fun. And then you did the Ray Gun Mark II and zombies with Buried later. I remember that was a fun discovery because there was a glitch during that time where I think a month before the game came out, like the mode came out, like Buried, the gun was just appearing in the mystery box, and I remember getting it and going, what the hell is this? Because I would play Town a lot, and it was just so, like, bizarre. And I just didn't know if I broke the game or not, but I got it to use it a month before the game came out, and it was just, I keep saying game, the map came out, and it was just so much fun. And the campaign, the story mode, I always play campaigns first when it comes to Call of Duty, and I just love the continuation from Black Ops 1 and 2 here, the multiple endings. It's actually one of like the more in-depth Call of Duty campaigns in a good long while, and that's why I think it's super cool. But moving on to the last game, that, like, honestly, number 1 and 2 could have swapped places for me, but I just thought like this next one was just that much more of a better game. But moving on to number 1, my favorite game of all time on the Xbox 360, Assassin's Creed 2. Now, again, with the Assassin's Creed games, like, I could have put Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or Assassin's Creed 3 even, although I feel like a lot of people would have been boo on that one. This one's kind of like not only the safer choice, but I also can agree that this was one of the best Assassin's Creeds that we ever had. It's the first that we had Ezio Auditore, which is very cool. He's such a fan favorite character, mainly because he has a lot of games to go off of, and he's just an awesome character in general with a tragic backstory. He's kind of like, in a sense, Batman because of the fact that he had a family tragedy. I mean, the Assassin's Creed concept itself is kind of like this cool thing because you get to play as Desmond, going through his memories, like his ancestors' memories, and you get to go through different ancestors. First being Altair, the second being Ezio, and we get to spend a little bit more time with Ezio in Italy, which Italy has a fantastic setting to go through and explore and stuff. So there's a lot of different areas that you could explore that's like unique. And you also have the hidden blades, which was also just a fun thing to have. And it took a lot of the good that Assassin's Creed 1 did, which was a fantastic game, and just cranked it to 11. You know, it's just one of the best Assassin's Creed games to this day. And Assassin's Creed's gone through a lot of different iterations. And I remember like doing things like collecting the codex pages. That was always like something I always prioritized when replaying it, because when I first played it, I didn't do that. And they were like, hey, you gotta go back and get the codex pages because they're important. So that is an important thing. If you're playing this game for the first time, go through the codex pages. They're important. But another thing too is that I got like the Ezio collection thing on Xbox One, so I got to experience the DLC and stuff, because by the time I played this, Xbox One had come out, and I didn't want to buy DLCs and stuff at that time, but the Ezio collection just kind of includes it. They also had a really awesome commercial where it was like basically Assassin's Creed in real life, and it was not even so much a commercial, more so like a story, like almost like a mini TV show, a mini series, if you will. And it followed Ezio's dad and like what the events that lead up to it. It was just really nice to see that. And in the Ezio collection, you gotta go through that. And while I didn't put Brotherhood or Revelations on this list, again, that could have swapped it because Ezio is such a good character that those two games with him alone automatically make it good. But I just have a soft spot for Assassin's Creed 2 because that was like the first time we see him, first time we get introduced to him, and the first time we experience all the other characters. Leonardo is like one of the funniest characters in the whole thing, and he kind of messes with you too. But seeing all the other mentors along the way that help Ezio kind of shape him to what he'll become in Brotherhood and stuff, which is awesome. Of course, you got Uncle Mario in this. There's a Nintendo reference here, and so that character, Uncle Mario, is just so fun to have around. And just upgrading stuff in the villa, going through the different locations. I know I'm repeating myself a bit, but going through a lot of the memories is just pretty nostalgic. Right, that'll be it for today. That is my entire top 10 personal favorite Xbox 360 games. Please tell me, do you agree with my list? Was there something that you think I should have included here? And I want to know, what are your favorite Xbox 360 games of all time? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like the video, a like and subscribe really does help out with the channel. I've been Station X, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.